Have you ever found yourself staring at your screen, just totally baffled, wondering why your Google data makes absolutely no sense? Well, if that's you, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're going to solve the big mismatch mystery between Google Search Console and Google Analytics 4. Let's get into it.
This is the question, isn't it? It's the one that drives everyone crazy. You look at your clicks in Search Console, then you pop over to your sessions in Analytics, and the numbers are just worlds apart. You can't help but think, okay, what's broken?
Well, here's the big plot twist. Nothing is broken. It's not a bug. It's not some error you made. The fact that these numbers don't match up is 100% intentional. It is built right into the design of how these incredible tools work, and understanding that, well, that's the key to everything.
So to really solve this mystery, we first have to get to know the two main characters in our story. Because this whole thing, really, it all comes down to a classic case of mistaken identity.
And of course, our two characters are Google Search Console and Google Analytics 4. The most important thing to get into your head right now is that they have completely different jobs. They're not even trying to do the same thing.
Okay, so first up, you've got Google Search Console, or GSC. I want you to think of this tool as your eyes and ears inside of Google Search itself. Its only job is to report on how your site is doing in the search results. It's all about impressions, clicks, rankings. Basically, it's the story of how people find you before they even get to your website.
And then you've got Google Analytics 4, or GA4. You know, its mission begins right where GSC's ends. GA4 couldn't care less about how someone found your site. It's obsessed with what they do after they arrive. It's tracking every click, every scroll, every conversion. It's the story of what happens on your website.
Now, this table breaks it all down pretty nicely. But honestly, if you only look at one thing, look at the row for data source. GSC gets its data directly from Google Search. That's before a user ever even touches your site. But GA4, it relies completely on a little piece of tracking code that has to fire in the visitor's browser. And that one little difference, that is the source of pretty much every single discrepancy we're about to talk about.
All right, so we know they have different jobs, and we know they get their data from different places. Now we get to play detective and look at the actual technical fingerprints that prove why their numbers will never, ever line up perfectly.
And man, there are a lot of factors here. You've got simple things, like a user has an ad blocker running. Well, GSC sees the click from the search results, no problem. But that ad blocker might stop the GA4 tracking code from ever firing. So GSC counts a visitor that GA4 never even knew existed. They even use different time zones by default, and GSC counts clicks on things like PDFs, which GA4 can't track at all. See, each of these creates a little gap between the two datasets.
Here's a perfect example that happens all the time. URL redirects. Let's say someone clicks on a link to an old page, and you have it set up to automatically redirect to the new page. Google Search Console says, okay, cool, that's one click for the main final URL. But Google Analytics, it records the visit on the exact URL the person landed on after the redirect happened. So you have the same person, the same action, but two completely different URLs reported in your tools.
So with all these differences piling up, it becomes pretty clear that we've been thinking about this all wrong. The goal isn't to force these numbers to match. The real goal is to reframe how we see them. It's not a competition between two tools, it's a team of specialists.
This is it. This is the big aha moment. We have to stop getting frustrated that they don't agree. The real power comes when you start listening to the two very unique and equally valuable stories that they're both trying to tell you.
So think of it like this. GSC is your search scout. It's out there on the front lines in the massive wilderness of Google Search, and it's reporting back what it sees. It tells you about your visibility, your rankings, your overall health from Google's point of view. Then you've got GA4. It's your on-site tracker. Once that scout has guided a visitor to your Basecamp, the tracker takes over. It tells you exactly where they go, what they interact with, and if they completed their mission.
So now that we've solved the mystery, now that we have our scout and our tracker, this is where the real power comes in, getting them to work together as a team. This is how you finally see the complete picture, from the moment someone types in a search to the final action they take on your site. Because ultimately, integrating their insights is what allows you, and I'm quoting here, illuminate both the initial acquisition of users via search and their subsequent behavior on your site. In other words, you finally get to connect all the dots.
And you know, getting started is actually pretty simple. First, and this is the most important step, you have to link your GSC and GA4 accounts. That's what lets you see all that rich search data right there inside of GA4.
After that, it's really just about good data hygiene. Make sure your tracking code is on every single page, keep your filters consistent, and just get in the habit of reviewing your data to understand the story it's telling you.
So, you see? The mismatch isn't a problem that you need to fix. It's actually a feature that you need to understand. When you embrace their differences, you get a much richer, more complete picture of what's really going on. So the question is no longer, why don't my numbers match? The new question is, now that I understand why, what incredible new story will my combined data tell me?